It was good. I like the ending. Ending was great. Everyone can agree on that. They all liked it. Feel more confident, you know, because it's really interesting skateboarding. It really is, and people can see how like really cool it is. So that's pretty much all I got to say.
That's all I got to say about that. All right. When you say you like the ending, I assume that you're talking about the video clips, because the end of the speech to me seemed kind of weak. It just seemed like I'm kind of done, and there's no exit line, there's no finish. It's just the clip stops and everything is finished. And I think you need to have something that transitions a little more clearly to the exit. The start of the speech is a little problematic. Also, you've got a rhetorical question that turns out not to be rhetorical at all. You're actually asking the audience to respond to what you're asking, and that comes across as a little awkward. The topic is clearly identified. I'd have to agree with Julio, though, that you need to have a more specific goal set up for yourself. What is it that you really want to talk about on this particular subject? At the end, I think you've got a potential topic there in the contrast between the styles that are going on, and I think that might, you could talk about how skating evolved or how the styles have changed and emphasized completely different things, and I think that would have made the speech a lot more effective. And then we can kind of get out of some of the historical stuff and only talk about those things in the historical context that might have influenced the change in the styles. For instance, the wheels or the decks or any of those kinds of things that might have had an impact on that. There's not really much of a preview, and in fact, the organization, it sounds chronological, so it sounds like it's structured, but I couldn't always tell what the structure was. I guess ultimately it turns out that it's being structured kind of decade by decade, and that seems to be the way you're organizing it. Up until the end, you really don't have much visual reference. You make a slight reference at one point to the wheels on the skateboard that you've got there, but other than that, there isn't anything. And at the end, I thought that you had two really good clips that illustrate the concepts that you're talking about, but they just feel tacked on, whereas if you had integrated them into the speech, and I mean, you've got the one that's talking about the early style and visualizes the thing that you made the reference to, is like ice skating and that kind of thing early on in the speech. Why aren't we looking at that clip then, and it would really fit in well with the material at that point. And then when you get to the other part later on, it changes. I'm getting some terminology. I got ollies, kick flips, air, vert, and I know that those, I think I know what most of them mean, but I'm not sure I do, and I'll bet there are other people out there that could probably use a little bit more explanation. You use the terminology like it's something everybody's going to be familiar with, and I'm not sure everybody's going to feel that way about it. So you probably want to put it into a context. Let me look at the audience quite a bit differently, and you don't want to talk to people like they're stupid, but you do want to talk to them like they don't automatically know everything that you know. All right, and so you got to bring them up to speed a little bit more. All right, thanks.